Welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. We're going to talk about Supreme Court confirmations and the reactions to them. And I want to point out some real, just blatant idiocy. Okay? This is from someone named Diane somewhere on the internet. And it's a screenshot, so I don't think she actually wrote it. So I don't know whose this post is. It looks like a partial screenshot of a Twitter post. And what it says is, many people do not realize that it was a felony to be gay in America less than 20 years ago. In 2003, a Supreme Court case struck down the remaining sodomy laws in 13 states after police in Texas raided the home of a gay man and dragged him and another man out in handcuffs after they discovered them having sex. As horrific as that sounds, 3 members of the Supreme Court voted that they saw nothing wrong with putting people in prison because they're gay. One of those justices is still on the court and swore in Amy Coney Barrett at her request. The person she described as her mentor and extremely close to her ideologically is the other justice, who argued vehemently that every gay person you know should remain felons forever. If you don't quite understand why your gay friends and family are terrified right now, that might give you a slight glimpse into our lives and what is going through our heads as she is sworn in. What an utter, complete load of bull crap. Nothing in here is true. Nothing in here is actually true. So the case being referred to is Lawrence. And that was Lawrence versus Texas, and it was decided in 2003. Now, the majority opinion, one of the things here is that it's not right to characterize what the Supreme Court does as voting. What they do is they make decisions, and they negotiate with each other to see if they're going to join an opinion, have a concurring opinion, or a dissenting opinion, but it's not a vote. Now, Phil defends this, like, oh, you could characterize that as a vote, and no, you really can't, and that's really important. The distinction is really important. Now, the consideration by the court is what's actually important here, okay? The court ruled that the Texas law prohibiting private homosexual activity violated the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. The court did not speak of sexual activity as a right that requires strict scrutiny. Okay, what it focused on was why a previous case, Bowers versus Hardwick, was wrong. They got this one. They got this one a little bit wrong because they did not actually look at whether or not the Constitution guarantees a right to privacy, which is a very important aspect of this and something that needs to be looked at and probably needs to be legislated on. Sandra Day O'Connor filed a concurring opinion, which was not part of the regular opinion, but she had a different rationale. She disagreed with overturning Bowers and disputed the court's invocation of due process. Okay, rather than including sexuality under protected liberty, she would have struck down the law as violating equal protection. So equal protection is a different it's a completely different concept, and I think that her opinion was much more valid. So there was a dissent. Okay, Chief Justice Rehnquist and Clarence Thomas, who's going to be important, joined Scalias Dissent. Scalias Dissent was not that he approved of the law, which is what here's this post, okay? Many people don't realize it was still a felony to be gay in America less than 20 years ago. That is incorrect. That is a fucking Factual lie. There were some states that had some laws that prevented some gay behaviors in America in 2003. Whew. Okay. What the Supreme Court decision did was not strike down, but it invalidated several provisions in 13 states, which included things like Romeo and Juliet laws that had different standards of legality for homosexual versus same-sex adult and child relationships. Okay, there was a lot more going on there. It wasn't illegal to be gay in several of those 13 states. It was illegal to have consensual homosexual sex between an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old if it was homosexual, but it was legal if it was heterosexual. So that's a different standard, and they lie. Lie. Okay, as horrific as that sounds, 3 members of the Supreme Court voted that they saw nothing wrong with putting people in prison because they're gay. Lie. Scalia, and we're going to go back to the decision now. Scalia disagreed with the decision based on how it treated other law, including Bowers and Roe versus Wade. For example, the rationale used to overturn Bowers in the Lawrence case is the same rationale you can use, same exact logic you can use to overturn Roe versus Wade. Which some of the justices contradicted themselves because they had previously upheld in Casey using a different rationale. So they're using a different rationale for different sides, okay? Which is a really bad thing, especially in the Supreme Court. O'Connor's concurrence noted that Scalias Dissent conceded that if such cases have a stare decisis effect, Texas sodomy law would not pass scrutiny under the Equal Protection Clause, regardless of the type of rational basis review applied. Scalia wrote that if the court was not prepared to validate laws based on moral choices, then state laws against bigamy, same-sex marriage, adult incest, prostitution, masturbation, adultery, fornication, bestiality, and obscenity would not be sustainable. He argued that the rationale and the argument was wrong, not that the law was right. This is a fucking lie, okay? Thomas's dissent. Now, Thomas is important because Justice Thomas, was the one who is still on the court, okay? The one that everyone thinks that this is the other justice who argued vehemently that every gay person you know should remain felons for being gay. Felons for life. That's not at all what Thomas wrote. Thomas wrote a separate dissent. Okay, it was very short, just 2 paragraphs. And he noted that the law the court struck down was uncommonly silly, which is a quote from a Griswold versus Connecticut case, so it's a very important quote if you do law stuff at all. But he voted to uphold the law as he could find no general right of privacy or relevant liberty in the Constitution. He added that if he were a member of the Texas legislature, he would vote to repeal the law. Obviously, this is vehemently defending. He also noted at various times that there are other ways to attack this. There are other arguments to use, but that it's key that there is no general right to privacy listed in the Constitution, and that is something that the legislature and the American populace needs to fix. So this is that, okay? This is what people consider truth, and my friend defended this, okay? He's defending this as the fact remains that a lot of gay people are terrified, and a lot of women are terrified, and a lot of Hispanics are terrified of ACB's confirmation to the Supreme Court. Oh, and a lot of people of other nationalities, especially the ones, because there's so many, who've been picked out at airports and denied re-entry into the country. Basically, he's like, millions of people in camps, terrified. No. Actually, what happened is the media has spun you a bunch of bullshit fucking lies and made people scared for profit. And yes, you, Mr. P, are buying into it, advocating it, and making it worse. Okay? Yeah, some of the language here is, let's say, inaccurate. Okay? He's defending this thing that he knows is inaccurate. And it is so impossibly inaccurate. Oh, man. I hope this is on Twitter, because I want to find it and I want to take it down. But, not take it down like censor it, but take it down like argue against it. But this is what the left, the Democrats, the social whatever side assumes is a valid argument. It's wrong. Everything about it is wrong. Okay? You know, the Supreme Court case struck down the remaining sodomy laws in 13 states. No, it didn't. It did have an effect on invalidating laws in several states, but not all of those laws are what you say they were. It wasn't illegal to be gay in America, okay? No, that is wrong, okay? 3 members of the Supreme Court voted that they saw nothing wrong with putting people in prison because they're gay. Wrong. Absolutely, 100%, totally fucking incorrect. One of those justices is still on the court. Well, yeah, okay. One of those justices is still on the court. But he's the other justice who argued vehemently that every gay person you know should remain felons. No, he did not. You lie. No, I don't understand why my gay friends and family might be terrified right now. Unless they're listening to the media and ignoring the truth. Stay sideways, and have a good one.